better way to start. Hello. I am posting on social media right now. I'm posting on social media, X, X, the website we love, X, and on Blue Sky, the website we also love, but maybe a little less sarcastically. And I'm posting that right now. I'm going to say going on now at, and then get this, twitch.tv/Nick McConnell. I love to have my own name as a handle. Going on now. Yep. And I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it on a little website called Facebook as well. Meta, the parent company, Meta's Facebook. I love calling it Meta. Just love. I can't even do it as a joke. I'm not gonna. Saying this. Okay, where to go? Where to go? Where to go? Previous notifications. Uh, it's an impossible website to use. Okay, share. I'm just gonna say share. Share now. Screw it. Who cares? Share now. Okay. Um, I'll post this up on audio at some point as well. I think that's going to be how I do this. I'm going to try to post things up on audio later on, and then I'm going to try out what it's like to have it in a podcast form. I prefer to do this. No one needs to see my mug while I'm talking, but I think that it could be fun to just have it up as a podcast thing. I don't know. I'll try it. Who care? So video game manual story time. I missed last week. Hello, home team game dev. How are you today? Thank you as always for joining. I really appreciate it. It's good to see you. I missed you. Not too shabby. That's good. I'm glad. I missed you at GDC. I was out of sorts and I was only able to be there on Tuesday for a period of time and then Wednesday. And I missed you and I saw you. But as I mentioned before, I got a just for anybody listening so that I can overshare about myself because this is a stream. I am a little shy occasionally in those sort of broader, open, let's call them open world social interactions, I guess. So I don't want to bother anybody. So my likely thing to do is to either not come by or to come by and apologize profusely for coming by and saying hello. So I'm working through that. We'll see how that goes. My one consistent piece of feedback that I receive at work, and I always have at work, is to apologize less. So sorry. Um, I didn't get to do last week. I thought I might do a reading in the park, as it were, which makes it sound extremely cool and fancy what I'm doing here. But I didn't have time, so I just saved last week's manual, Trauma Team for the Wii. I'm getting a lot of lag here. I apologize. Oh, shoot, nope, not apologizing. Not going to apologize. I'm gonna try. Yep, ready for story time. Harris, hello. Oh my God, I love this. Thanks both for coming. This manual is a beast. I'm going to show this to you, and then so that's going to be one. And I just love Trauma Team. I don't know what's in here. I just love it, so I'm going to go for it. And then number two, if we have time, is a my computer's going all over the place. Hold on. This is a computer that I don't use except to do this. So I get like pop-ups all over the place. So hold on. The Xbox app is trying to tell me something. It wants me to do a Game Pass mission. I'm not going to do a Game Pass mission right now. Thank you. Maybe later. And then number two, if we have time, super runabout for the Sega Dreamcast. Has an absolutely charming. I did do a little bit of pre-reading on this one, just a moment though. It has an absolutely charming last page that details Interplay's website and what a special idea it is to have a website for your video games. So we'll do that. But first, we'll go into a bit of Trauma Team. I don't know if anybody here has played Trauma Team, but Trauma Center, right? Trauma Center on the DS is one of my all-time favorites. I love to resolve the spiders that cause deep vein, what is it, thrombosis. I love to kill those spiders, the little mechanical spiders. Very realistic game. So if you are interested in going into medicine, I highly suggest it. And if you're interested actually in going into more than just medicine, if you want to be a well-rounded professional, I suggest picking up Trauma Team for the Wii and getting your license right away because you will become a master of surgery, diagnosis, first response, orthopedics, endoscopy, and even forensics in the biggest and best medical game yet. Your Wii remote lets you cut, hammer, drill, probe, analyze, and more to save your parent patients' lives. And bomb defusal. That's right. Hey, you can do anything you need to in this game. I'm telling you, it's going to teach you some things. It's the future of gaming, and I would argue, as you say, they're the future of gaming. It's also the future of work. Let's work from home a little bit this morning and dive into Trauma Team. Trauma Team, great game. Yes, Space Astrocat, it is a great game. It is a lot of game too. And what you can tell by this manual, they're cheating a little because it has both the English and French pages. This manual is beefy. We got a beefy boy. We got a beefy boy here in the Trauma Team manual. It clocks in at 66 pages. We're going to read through some of them. I'm not going to read through all of them because there's a lot here. The prologue. It's a book. It's a book. This game is a book. And if you've played the game too, some of the sequences are a book too. I remember the ones where you go through the forensic ones go for a long time. And also my critical appraisal of the game, the Wii remote, not quite up to the task. Yes, it is a book for a game. There are a lot of O's and a lot of A's in there, as you point out there. The prologue. Welcome to Resurgam First Care. The hospital is called Resurgam. So there'll be a test at the end of this. Located in Maryland, Resurgam First Care prides itself on being one of the finest emergency hospitals on the eastern coast of the United States. I'm always calling it the eastern coast. Resurgam serves the population with care and skill and provides medical services of all kinds, specializing in emergency responses and trauma center situations. What I like about this game is that there's a lot going on in this game. It's real wild, and the prologue is basically just a description of a hospital. They're just like, you want to know what a hospital is? It's where the patients and doctors stay. But that's not important right now. Welcome to Trauma Team. Then they tell you a little bit about the game itself. Welcome to Trauma Team. Trauma Team is a subtle departure from the standard trauma center game experience. Uh, yeah, yeah, that's not important right now. I'm always ready to do some Leslie Nielsen references, to a fault, in fact. I like that they tell you that this is a subtle departure from the standard trauma center game experience. I would argue not so subtle. By moving the storyline away from a sci fi concept and making the situations more realistic, our new focus is on the characters and sense of accomplishment that stems from having a life saved instead of simply beating a stage. It's our intention to provide you with a medical drama more immersive and fulfilling than any you've ever experienced. And Trauma Team will deliver that experience to you. That is a hell of an intro. I love that. Genuinely love that. I think that that's really great. I would again maybe take issue with just how realistic it is, but it's realistic enough for me to the point where I am going to go out and perform surgery on somebody immediately after this call, and then I'm going to use my forensic skills to understand what happened in the immediately preceding surgery. Surgery. We're going to learn a little bit about the people in it. Um, we have in our realistic story a surgeon, the main character in the surgeon story, with the name CRS01. All of my surgeons have been named like that. So this young surgeon was apparently involved in a biochemical attack on Cumberland University that killed several people, during which he lost his memory, but not his impressive surgical skills. We're going to find out more about him, I'm sure, during the game. While serving a 250-year sentence for the atrocity he can't remember committing, he was approached by the government with an unusual offer: perform difficult surgeries in exchange for commuted sentence time. Besieged by guilt over his apparent inhumanity. Yeah, big yikes to this guy. Besieged by guilt over his apparent inhumanity, he now turns his sight towards redeeming himself through helping others. So, and then it gives you a goal. I'm not going to read it because there's too many of these, but it tells you specifically what you have to do in here. The goal in the surgery portion of the game is to treat the patient's affected areas by wielding the surgical tools while keeping the patient's vitals stable. So, this is the sort of standard trauma center experience. It tells you everything. I'm telling you, this book has everything. And it's not a book, it's a man. I mean, it's not a manual, it's just a book. It tells you everything about other tools, scalpels, forceps. Pretty cool. Then, first response. We've got Dr. Maria Torres. It says first response. Emergency response situations are much like surgery, but with a reduced tool set. However, the pressure is much greater with multiple severely injured patients to save simultaneously. My experience, absolutely true. Maria is always the first to act in any situation, but is also the first to overreact to any perceived threat, which seems to me as a fairly significant improvement area for her skill set. If you are a first responder, getting overwhelmed by any perceived threat seems like maybe something to work on. This fiery spirit serves her well as an EMT for Resurgam while distancing her from her fellow doctors. Having little patience for anyone else, Maria's always been headstrong and difficult to work with. Her drive to be so independent may be her undoing in times of need. I hope she's okay. Kind of flying through this. We'll see how we go here, but there's a lot to cover. I like when people talk on podcasts and they're just like, "Well, we've got a lot to get through today, so let's get going." Like it's a class, like it's a lecture. I guess in some ways this kind of is like a lecture. So thanks for joining. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. We have a lot of construction out going on the street right now, so I had to walk the kids to school. It's fantastic. But I was jogging back, and it turns out I'm 40, and my knees not so happy with me for jogging back. So I think the lesson that I learned from that is to sit down, enjoy my coffee, read some manuals, and never move my body again. Yes, Chris is correct. We have to. Home team Game Dev is correct. We must keep to the syllabus if we are to hit our graduation date. That is really important. The syllabus is significant and strong, and our graduation date of about 9:05 in the morning for this particular class is impending, is looming over us. So I'll stop dawdling. I will get back to our education for the day. We'll talk about orthopedics. So we've gone from emergency surgery to first response emergencies to just orthopedics. This is good. This is good. Now things are going to start getting relaxed. Um, okay, okay. What's the needle prick one? The where they prick you with the needles? They should have one of those in here. I don't know. I can't remember words today. Dr. Hank Freebird. We have here, we're talking with Dr. Hank Freebird. He's a gentle giant in every sense of the word. Hank's soft spoken demeanor belies his strong sense of duty and honor. After receiving an honorable discharge from the Army in which he served with distinction, Hank became an orthopedic surgeon to better help the people in his community. However, even that might not be enough. Could the talk of a superhero sighted in Cumberland be idle gossip? Or is there some truth to the rumors of a costume vigilante serving the public interest of the city? I wasn't expecting that. As I'm saying, I didn't read this before, so I didn't expect that. But keeping true to the promised realism of Trauma Team, we are now discussing a potential superhero sighting. Strangely enough, it's in Dr. Hank Freebird's page here. I can't imagine there's any connection. I doubt it. No way. There's no way that that would be Dr. Hank Freebird. No way. It's got to be something else. Endoscopy. Endoscopic. Huh. It's a documentary. You're right. Endoscopy. It's an impossible word. It's impossible. I can't say it. Endoscopy. Oh my God. This is break. I'm going to take another sip of my coffee. It might be the coffee that's causing this problem. Hold on. Mm, sugar free. Um, Endoscopic surgery. See, it fixed it. Endoscopic surgery requires you to guide a probe equipped with a suit of tools through the human body. It needs a very delicate touch and the ability to recognize the best tools for the job. You're correct. It is a hard difficulty manual. I am trying it, and I hope that I'm a good enough teacher to allow you all to pass. I'll grade on a curve, though, if we don't make it. We have Dr. Tomoe Tachibana right here. This heiress to one of Japan's most powerful ninja clans grew up in the very definition of luxury, but has decided to distance herself from her family in order to learn how to live, quote, on her own, unquote, parenthetically, with her usual retinue of household staff and personal butler, Hanzu. End of parentheses. A strong willed and thoughtful girl, Tomoe wields her oh my God, endoscopes, her things controls with the grace and style that her ancestors wielded their blades. So there we go. Endoscopy. That's it. It tells you all about endoscopy. I want to know more about the ninja history, but then we get to diagnosis with Dr. Gabriel Cunningham. This was the first game, so I love this game, and I'm gonna say this repeatedly. So any criticism that I have comes from a place of love, comes from a place of support. Um, this game is too long. There's too many things to do in this game. This is one of the first games I ever remember being like, you know, I could have done with maybe a little less. So if they make a sequel, I would say maybe focus on the surgery. I think just make Trauma Center again. I think maybe that's what I'd say. I love the rest of it though. Dr. Gabriel Cunningham diagnosis long ago grew tired of being the best and brightest diagnostician at Resurgam, and while his ability to quickly and accurately identify his okay, I am going to this. Hey, thank you. Thanks for popping in. Meeting in 15 minutes. I know putting it right before the workday on the West Coast is like not ideal for me. If anybody has a preferred time that's better, 8:40 for me is just sort of the time that I've dropped the kids off, and I don't usually start my day proper for work until around 9:30. So it's worked for me, but if there's a better time, yeah, but thank you so much for popping in. It really means a lot. It really does. This is fun, and I hope it's sort of fun. This one's a crazy manual, but if there's a better time, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear feedback. I'd love to hear anything like that. I'm just sort of having fun with this thing, but thank you so much for popping in. Yeah, so and anyway, that was actually really helpful because it allowed me to reboot my brain for a second so that I can actually read this page, which is really eluding me. Um, Dr. Gabriel Cunningham's ability to care about the people he's helping is falling to an all-time low. That sounds like the truth, just sort of in general with the human experience for folks. Quick witted and always ready with a caustic comment, Gabriel is an easy man to like, but a hard man to know. He's a small doses kind of guy. With a failed marriage and an estranged son, it seems Dr. Cunningham has little incentive to improve his personality. I would disagree, Dr. Cunningham. I think there's a lot to do there. We got forensics here with Dr. Naomi Kimishima. I believe she's the last person in here. Um, thank God. Because I can't read this anymore. This is too long. It's incredible though. I love it. It's amazing. Maybe I'll go through the French portion of it to relearn how to speak French. Maybe that's what I'll do. Duolingo isn't doing it for me anymore. I used to be fluent. We'll see how much of this I can understand in French. I won't put you all through that. Use your keen mind for analysis. Oh, yep, that's what I've got, a keen mind for analysis, along with several tools for detecting evidence to gather information about the crime. Um, Afterwards, combine your evidence and use rational thought to create conclusive cases to determine the events behind each death. What's up? We got folks in the chat. Oh my god, this is exciting. We do. Oh my god, this is so cool. I love this. Harris, I missed your chat and I can't actually go back to find it. I got to close something here and I don't know how to do it. I can't do this. I got to figure out this chat. I'm sorry about that. But welcome everybody. Yay. Thank you for coming in. Everybody has made it just in time for Super Runabout San Francisco edition on the Sega Dreamcast in just a moment. But Dr. Naomi Kimishima, in the meantime, Naomi's life as a master surgeon was cut short due to an irredeemable mistake she had made years before, and now she's been diagnosed with a terminal and incurable disease. This whole hospital is filled with people who should really be working on themselves. Though she is unable to operate anymore, she has gained a mysterious power that she uses while working at the Cumberland Institute of Forensic Medicine as a forensic examiner, quietly waiting for her own life to end. She has given up, Naomi. She has given up on life, and as she waits to join the ranks of corpses that she sees every day, perhaps something will give her the hope and strength to go on. I think she does. I think she does. I'm just guessing that she finds something to continue to go on. That's the sad story of Dr. Naomi Kimishima. It tells you that you will be working at three locations: your office, the evidence room, and the crime scene. This is pretty cool. There you go. You go a lot of places. That one is the most story heavy one I remember, and it is there's a lot of I actually here's what I want. Yeah, a little heavy for the morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. We get to learn about Dr. Naomi Kimishima and her sad background. I c- as she waits to join the ranks of the corpses that she sees every day is rough. Um, what I want to know, and then this is Atlas, right? And so they obviously have always done incredible work localizing stuff. It's always been a strength of theirs. I feel like it's been the thing that they do that just blows my mind. There is so much here, and there's so much in the game too. I need to set up my Wii and go through it, but like the amount of localization they do, I want a documentary about the localization of this game because there's just so freaking much in there. And as strange as some of it is, as wild as the story is, it always kind of works and makes sense. So yes, please documentary on that. Um, let's get a let's get a. You know what I want? I want is a. I already requested a video game documentary on time splitters this morning. So if I'm getting selfish, I also want one on localization. Just the concept of loc. Give me stories of loc from the early days to today, talking to the heroes of loc. That's what I want so much. So yeah, I'd fund that. I'd pay for that. Then you get the French section. I won't be reading that. Bienvenue au centre de premiers soins Resurgam. Uh, Bienvenue au jeu équipe trauma. That's what I would say. That's my pronunciation. I don't know if my pronunciation still exists. Commencez une partie, nouvelle partie, continuez, jouer, écran de sélection d'épisodes. Yeah, let's get it there. I'm not going to put anyone else through the remainder of my French. I used to be fluent in French, but it's gone. It'll be back once I learn how to become a surgeon and a first responder and an orthopedist. I will remember French. That's what this game is going to do. Yeah, the Loke. Yeah, Harris points out that the Loke in the Yakuza spin-off Judgment is amazing. Everything in it is really good. The writing is so good. All the RGG games are amazing. Harris, if you haven't played, thank you. I appreciate the French. The French sounds legit. I'll do it. I can't say any of it. I can just read it, I guess. If you haven't played any of the other Yakuza or Like a Dragon games, you got to try Zero. Zero is one of the best games of all time. I also really liked The Man Who Erased His Name, the most recent uh, 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 Kiryu based story, but it's the localization of that stuff. The writing is so good. It's so funny. There's so much to it. It's awesome. Yes, so that would actually be another one. I just want a day in the life of RGG and all their loc partners. Zero Kiwami and Judgment. Yeah, it's a lot. You're right. Yes, the games are long. The games are a lot. Um, and Zero, Kiwami, and Judgment are probably like the shortest ones. Um, but six I really liked. Six gets off to a slow start, but man, once it gets going, it's fantastic. Um, Zero, though, I think Zero has the best combat. I like switching through all four. I love playing as oh God, what's his name? I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. The wild guy. The wild guy starts with a ponytail. Anyway, I'm blanking on his name. He's fantastic. Um, that's Trauma Team. Trauma Team. So yet again, you will have become. I'm not going to test you. I'm going to just assume that you've all passed. This is an honor system thing. It's about surgery, so it shouldn't be too important. You have become, after listening to this, a master of surgery, diagnosis, first response, orthopedics, endoscopy, and forensics. Majima. Yes, thank you. Majima. Goro Majima. Um, the intro to Goro Majima in Yakuza 0 is probably my favorite scene in almost any video game ever. It's just so good. And then the next best scene is when you fight the one guy in the sewer on the motorcycle. That's the other best scene in any video game. So those are good. Yep. As Chris says, throw your stethoscope into the air. I'm gonna throw my I don't know orthotics into the air. I don't know what an orthopedic. I don't really know what an orthopedist does. So I'm gonna throw my orthotics into the air and hope to catch them later for my 40-year-old feet when I go pick up the kids at school. And we are now going to talk about cars on the Sega Dreamcast Super Runabout San Francisco edition. Um, The more, I'll just read you some of the back. This is a game about how I approach driving in San Francisco. I learned stick shift in San Francisco, and this is basically yet another documentary, yet another example of games teaching you how to live life. White knuckle it through the streets of San Francisco in Super Runabout, the ultimate go anywhere driving game. Drive anywhere you want through parks, buildings, garages, and more. Just don't let silly things like traffic laws get in the way of a little fun. Yeah, don't be a baby. Drive through, drive through the park. The more you destroy, the more bank you earn. That actually is true of capitalism. Take control of over 25 unique vehicles, speed or destruction. The choice is yours. Also true. That's how media companies are run these days. Challenge 16 crazy missions with two scenarios: pick up bombs, take out kidnappers, stop a runaway cable car, and more. That is Super Runabout in the Sega Dreamcast. Also available if you're interested. Just came out. Yeah. Model your dating profile after this text. I think you're going to get the right folks. I think you're just going to get the exact right type of person if you model it after that. The more you destroy, the more bank you earn. You could become a modern day Bonnie and Clyde, and but a faster Bonnie and Clyde because of the driving, the fast driving. Now available MDK2, a game that I've got somewhere over here as well, and I don't know if it holds up. I'm not sure it held up when it came out either. In a lot of ways, I don't say that as a deep criticism. Again, I think it's a lot of fun, but I only remember playing the beginning a lot. I remember playing the beginning a lot. But it had a really cool, yeah, MDK2 rocks and MDK1. Well, yeah, MDK2 I feel like was made for like baby brains like me who only had consoles. Did MDK1 come out on a console? I don't even know. Anyway, 2 was cool. I like the dog with the gun. I think for me that was a game that I bought not knowing MDK2 solidly exists. That is a very good review. I remember getting it and just being like, this is a cool looking game. It's all that mattered to me. That's kind of half the Dreamcast library. I'm going to be very honest. I love the Dreamcast. It's my favorite system of all time. Half of the library was built on just enjoying the vibes, I think. That's why I'm such a big Pen Triicelon fan. The controls in MDK2 are rough. Played it. Oh, you played it a couple of weeks ago. Okay, that's cool. It seemed pretty forward thinking in a lot of keyways and maybe just rough around the edges, is what it was. MDK1 on the PS1. Okay. Maybe I'll get that at some point. Somebody on Mercari accidentally sold me a Sega whatever hits collection version of Ready to Rumble Boxing for 20 bucks. So I'm very excited about receiving that. I think they thought that was the normal version. And maybe I got away with something on that one. Anyway, let's read about Super Runabout before I just start idly talking about collecting video games that I shouldn't be spending money on. So, the table of content, there's game story and two scenarios. To hell with the rules. This is pretty good. One day later on, I'll do a greatest hits of these manuals. But this one has the same vibe. Harris, I think you were on that call. Or on that call. You were on. This is a call. Yeah, we're doing a call. You were on that video where we went through Dynamite Cop. This one has slightly similar vibe to Dynamite Cop. I think maybe not quite as 2000. But to hell with the rules. The roads belong to drivers who know no fear. You know who would like this is there's that TikTok channel that talks about being like gas maxed and highway pilled. I feel like this is something that they would enjoy. The challenging streets of San Francisco await. Players can choose between two scenarios. One of the scenarios features a semi-legal courier service run by Pop, an old man struggling with a loan repayment, and his streetwise daughter Shirley. The other scenario deals with two reckless cops, Brandon and Radman, who are trying to be promoted to the Criminal Investigation Department. To complete their missions and gather up a few emblems along the way, you'll risk death, blazing flames, or even driving inside buildings. That actually seems like the least of the three to me. But who cares if a few traffic laws get broken along the way, right? It says, right? Choose your hero by selecting a scenario. The basic rules of the game apply to both scenarios. You can switch back and forth between any of the scenarios at any time of the game. A lot of scenario. The word scenario shows up here a lot. Scenario A, the courier version. After being gone for years, Shirley reappears at Pop's rundown auto shop. She offers to work in exchange for room and board. Pop, who's currently in debt to the local crime boss Waldman, accepts her help as a courier. Their goal? Do what it takes to free Pop from Waldman's influence. I feel like that was a line read by accident on my part from House of the Dead too. Waldman, Uncle Joe. These are the characters. Uncle Joe. Joe's an old buddy of Pop and a highly skilled mechanic. When he's not helping out Pop, Joe sometimes takes police and military related assignments as well. He's just sort of freelancing. He goes on TaskRabbit and he joins the military. Pop's a shrewd courier, if a little unscrupulous, who is rumored to have once been an ex F1 race car driver. Recently, have once been an ex F1 race car driver. So he was an ex F1 race car driver. Recently, he gave up a lifelong habit of smoking, congrats to Pop, thanks to the threats of his daughter. The threats of his daughter. Shirley, Pop's daughter, is a young, street savvy girl who has decided to drop back into town to attend school. School's not that great in San Francisco. I'm sorry to say it. Sorry, Shirley. Waldman. Waldman is a politician who excels at covering up his true occupation as a powerful crime boss in San Francisco. So also true to life. Those who know the truth about him rarely survive long enough to turn him in. Waldman will just pull his mask off and it'll be London Breed underneath. Scenario B. Sorry, spicy politics takes. Scenario B, police version. I'm attacking her from the left, just to be very clear. Police officers Brandon and Radman have have reached a dead end in their jobs. Stuck as traffic cops, they really want to work for the Criminal Investigation Department. Thankfully, an opportunity presents itself when the chief of the department gives them the order to shut down a certain illegal courier business. If they succeed, perhaps their dreams can then come true. The chief. The chief's sole pleasure in life is golfing in his office. His biggest problem is Brandon and Radman! With an exclamation point. The chief's sole pleasure in life is golfing in his office, and his biggest problem is Brandon and Radman. God, I love this. God, I love this. This is a good manual. This is the kind of manual I want. I don't want manuals anymore that are serious in the slightest. I just want this. I want Brandon and Radman and Waldman and Pop and Shirley and Chief. Brandon is a scrupulously honest ex karate champion who considers driving to be a hobby of his. Brandon's partner, Radman, one, once aspired to be an NBA player. So this is Rodman now we're talking. Okay. Before giving up his career to join the quote, boys in blue. Racing in San Francisco. Yeah, ex karate champion is pretty sick. I would I I need to go back through this, but after this and Kasumi Ninja and War Gods, I think that there's like an ex karate champion in every single one of these. That was just what was still cool. It was like still cool in 2000. Karate was still cool. Now it's passe. Now everybody likes UFC. Um, yeah, now everyone's like a UFC fighter in games. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I need another sip of coffee. This is a less challenging manual to read than the last one, but is stretching my brain much further. Mm. Yes, once a champ, always a champ. Actually, being an F1 racer was ahead of its time. I feel like that's very popular now in the States. It wasn't so much back then. So super runabout, ahead of and behind its time. Racing in San Francisco. Picturesque San Francisco is a beautiful city with neat rows of Victorian style buildings and many famous sightseeing spots, such as Chinatown, the Golden Gate Bridge, and Alcatraz Island. You can enjoy these spots during the game, especially when you travel through them at excessively high speeds. Actual San Francisco streets were reproduced for this game, and some original streets added as well. I like that. I love getting original streets. Hey, thanks for joining. Also, good news. See you later. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. And yes, here we go. All right. That's it. I like that. I love the idea of, and we made some original streets too. Don't worry about it. Um, I won't read this, but how to start the game. Shall we begin? I love it. I just love that was like, yeah, here's everything. Like, here's what you got to do. You got to press this new game button. You got to go there, load game. You got to make sure that your VMU is in the Sega Dreamcast controller, and hopefully it makes that gigantic, super loud beeping noise. That's pretty cool. How to operate the racing controller. I need to get a racing wheel for my Dreamcast. I should also get a second Dreamcast, or I guess a second working Dreamcast, right? I think I need to get that. Before I continue, I can't play light gun games on my fancy Dell. I'm not gonna turn the computer on, but my fancy like Dell HD CRT monitor, so I need to go get a good one. Um, yeah, that would be a good tech sound. Uh, Man, that'd be cool. But to your point, it's always on vibrate for me. Scenario selection. Welcome to our office. Two exclamation points. Nothing too much here. So I'm just gonna sort of keep on scrolling. All this stuff is basically just telling you how to play your music. This allows you to listen to music, steering, manual setup. You can listen to this. You can do manual setup. The game is actually pretty sick. There's manual setup items. You can't see it too well, but you can check your steering, your suspension, your front suspension, your rear suspension, your front tire, your rear tire. It's pretty sick. There's a lot of different stuff. How to play the game. Who needs a driver's license? It says. Who needs a driver's license? There we go. And I'm just gonna go ahead and go to the end here. Ooh, try the VMU mini games. This game has everything. Sorry, I'm losing track of the actual stream here, and I'm just getting really excited about going in and experiencing Super Runabout. Uh, and the VMU. Oh my God, someone had just had to take a picture of their VMU from the side to get a picture of what the VMU minigame looks like. So there we go. That is Super Runabout, a much shorter one. Obviously, just as academically important, but maybe less rigorous than Trauma Team. I'll read a few of the credits here. The executive producer for who developed this game, Interplay published it, but the game was developed by Climax. Yeah, just driving around. This was a fun one. This is an underrated Dreamcast game. Kan Naito was the executive producer. The director was Koki Takahashi. Um, there's a lot of folks in here. Trying to see if there's anybody I recognize. I don't recognize any names. Technical support, Microsoft. Thank you. Thank you, Microsoft, for helping. Special thanks, Sega. Yep, absolutely. I'll see. Is there any QA? Do they have any QA? I always like to go find the QA team. The voice actors were Mike Rogers and Yuka Yamada. And QA manager, just trying to see. It doesn't look like there's anything on the developer side. They only show the QA team for the publisher. So the director of quality assurance for Interplay when this game came out in 2000. His name was Mike Motada. So if anybody knows Mike Motada, send him my best and my thanks. The QA manager was Greg Baumeister. The project supervisors were John Kirkland and Eric Gunther. And the senior tester was Rodney Smith. And other testers were Sean Johnson, Thomas Edmonds, and Lisa Hawker. The head of product development, Rob Nestler. So if you know anybody here, give them a shout. Tell them that we got to enjoy Super Runabout, and whoever wrote. Actually, is there a manual? Do they say who wrote the manual? Line producer, product manager. Nope, 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 nope. Wait, oh, we got one. Manual design and layout. Special thanks here from me to Michael L. Quintos. So if you know Michael L. Quintos, we got it. I almost never see. Usually the manual is just ascribed to like the team. So I'm gonna read one last thing here because I think it's charming. The last page is for the Interplay website. It's a message from Brian Fargo, the CEO of Interplay. Welcome to the Interplay Web. As a company dedicated to providing innovative, high quality interactive entertainment software, we are always striving to stay close as possible to the leading edge of technology. This website, two words, capital W, web space site, this website is the latest example of our ongoing effort to provide a wealth of information and opportunities to you. As a company of fanatic gamers, we love the idea of gamers all over the world tapping into cyberspace to see, touch, and feel our latest games. You might rethink that in 2024. No hype, no marketing campaign, just great games. To make it work, our goal is to keep this site fresh and new, to make it a place where you can tell us what you like about our games and what you don't like about them. So use the feedback options on these pages and sound off. Little did he know, gamers would very much do that using the internet. Enjoy your visit to our website. Explore all the different areas we have to offer and come back soon. Check us out in the weeks and months ahead. We will be introducing new and exciting areas for you to experience. Once again, welcome. Brian Fargo, CEO. It says how to get there. From your internet browser, point your favorite browser from your internet account, sign into your internet account. Point your favorite browser to www.interplay.com. There you go. If you want to buy something from them, just turn on your computer and go to interplay-store.com. I don't know. Maybe we could do a cyberspace edition of Video Game Manual Storytime and look at the Interplay website at some point. That's the future. Uh, there you go. So little did they know the internet would become such a thing, but Interplay was on top of it ahead of time. So there we go. That's all it is. And That's what we got for today. So thanks for doing this. I'm gonna go prepare myself for a series of meetings. Today's a meeting heavy day, so I'm gonna go do that, and maybe I'll see you next week. Thanks for coming. Thanks for talking. Oh my God, yes. Oh yes. Chris, Home Team Game Dev says 2003 Interplay website. There is a link. There is a link in the chat. I can say that now. There's a link in the chat. Go check it out. I am going to do this. Yeah, way back machine tours, please. So maybe one day we'll do way back machine tours of video game websites from a time when the internet was less of a bad place. But you all have made it a good place today. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody, sincerely. And see y'all soon. Bye. Signing off. Ending stream. I really got to change this. I'm going to click don't ask again. Now it'll end stream.